This is Ohio Cold Cases from 1964 to 1999. Before we go over the cold cases, please make sure that you're following the channel. You give this video a like and you share it out. It not only helps the channel, but it helps spread awareness on these cases. Also, please forgive me for any names that I may mispronounce. These first two cases, the boys disappeared together. James McQuarrie, he disappeared from Fairfax on October 15th, 1964. He was 9 years old. He would now be 69. He was 3'6" and weighed 65 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. His best friend John Hunley was with him. John was 9 years old. He would now be 69. He was 4 foot, weighed 85 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information on either of these boys, call 513-271-7250. Elizabeth Franks disappeared from Toledo on April 14th, 1965. She was 17 years old. She would now be 76. She was 5'2" and weighed 95 pounds with red hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 419-245-3142. Sharon Pretorius disappeared from Dayton on September 28th, 1973. She was 13 years old. She would now be 64. She was 5'7" and weighed 135 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 937-333-1070. Lori Lloyd disappeared from Kettering on February 11th, 1976. She was 14 years old. She would now be 62. She was 5'3" and weighed 105 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 937-296-2583. Yvonne Regler disappeared from Fairview on August 8, 1977. She was 15 years old. She would now be 56. She was 5'10" and weighed 135 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 440-356-4415. Evelyn Davis disappeared from East Liverpool on June 21st, 1979. She was 16 years old. She would now be 61. She was 5'2" and weighed 110 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 330-385-5564. Tiffany Papiche disappeared from Maple Heights on June 13th, 1980. She was 8 years old. She would now be 52. She was 4 foot, weighed 58 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 216-662-5884. Lisa Sexton disappeared from Elrea on May 1st, 1981. She was 14 years old. She would now be 57. She was 5'8" and weighed 130 pounds with red hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 216-322-3465. Cynthia Carmack disappeared from Hamilton on June 26, 1987. She was 15 years old. She would now be 52. She was 5'2" and weighed 125 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 513-868-1273. Emily Sawyer disappeared from Toledo on April 1st, 1988. She was 4 years old. She would now be 41. She was 4'1" and weighed 50 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 419-245-3340. Karen Spencer disappeared from Miami Township on December 29, 1989. She was 17 years old. She would now be 52. She was 5'1" and weighed 120 pounds with blonde hair and green eyes. If you have any information, call 513-732-2231. Melissa Collins disappeared from Akron on August 8, 1991. She was 17 years old. She would now be 50. She was 5'3" and weighed 120 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Her daughter Jasmine went missing with her. Jasmine was 7 months old. She would now be 33. She was 1'6" and weighed 15 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information about Jasmine and or her mother Melissa, please call 330-375-2530. Donnell White disappeared from Ashtabula on August 10, 1991. He was 14 years old. He would now be 47. He was 5'10" and weighed 160 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 440-992-7172. Jamal Williams disappeared from Toledo on May 25, 1994. He was 3 years old. He would now be 33. He was 3 foot and weighed 30 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 419-245-3129. Christine Kingsley disappeared from Elleria on June 22, 1995. She was 17 years old. She would now be 46. She was 5'5" and weighed 145 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 440-323-3302. Aaron Stepp disappeared from Columbus on March 11, 1997. He was 3 years old. He would now be 30. He was 3'2" and weighed 39 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4670. Erica Baker disappeared from Kettering on February 7, 1999. She was 9 years old. She would now be 34. She was 3'11" and weighed 65 pounds with blonde hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information, call 937-296-2555. Travell Henley disappeared from Columbus on July 2, 1999. He was 15 years old. He would now be 40. He was 5'8", weighed 165 pounds with black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information, call 614-645-4545. If you'd like for me to go more in depth on any of these cold cases, let me know in the comments.